All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Better by the Numbers podcast presented by Life Metrics. We're here at the third annual Roundtable for longevity clinics. We are here with Erno Duda. Am I saying that right?
Yes, you're saying it right.
Perfect. All right. You are the CEO of, how do you say that company?
MediPredict.
Okay. And what do you guys do in the longevity space?
So we've been around for 10 years. We have about 80 people, 15 medical doctors. We have our in-house genetics team, bunch of microbiologists, chemists, a lot of bioinformaticians and software engineers. And on one hand, we run a longevity clinic in Budapest.
Actually,
in Budapest.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
And,
and came a long way.
Yes, it was a long flight. And we also provide services for other longevity clinics. So that we have our own labs, so we do a lot of analysis in-house, but we are definitely on the diagnostic side of longevity. So we're not into the treatment side. We are in the deep scientific medical part of understanding how your biology is different than everybody else's biology, and what your disease risks are, and what you can do to extend your healthy lifespan, your health span and lifespan. So we basically measure everything and anything that can be measured in a human. So we do whole genome sequencing, we do microbiome testing, and we do deep sequencing in microbiome, so functional tests. Also, we do metabolomics, quantitative metabolomics for over 1,000 metabolites. We do imaging like full body MRIs and CTs and ultrasounds. We interrogate wearable data. We do epigenetics. We do environmental tox testing. So whatever, medical examinations, sleep tests. So, and then our real expertise is how to integrate that data. So unlike a lot of longevity clinics, we don't own a lot of the equipment. So for instance, we don't do the imaging in-house because we look at it as a commodity, because I can get an MRI scan. I don't need to own an MRI. I just need a good quality image. And we don't do the sequencing in-house, but we do all the data analysis in-house. So we do our own genetic analysis, we do our own microbiome analysis, and we do our own metabolomics, mass spectrometry. And these we also offer to other longevity clinics, either white labeled or under our name. So they can do the sequencing locally, and then we will provide the reporting and the analysis for them. And it's a lot more cost effective in many cases.
Wow. Okay. So you operate out of Budapest, and
Yes.
I'm assuming you kind of go all over the world, or you guys like...
Well, let's put it this way. Their clients come to us.
Okay.
So we've had, we literally have, we have clients from Australia, US, Israel, Sweden. So we have clients from around the globe. Budapest is a nice city. So they come over here, they spend a couple of days, we examine them, and in the meantime, to go to the opera or whatever, spend their time with. And we've literally had people flying over from the US in their private jets, bringing their whole family to get examined. So we get clients from all over, but we can also work with individuals who are somewhere else. And then, they get their imaging done locally, their labs done locally, and we handle the sample logistics. So they don't necessarily have to come to Budapest to get tested if there's a local provider that we can work with, because our real expertise is how you connect the dots. How do you make sense of, you have this and this genetic variant, you have this is your microbiome buildup, this is your lifestyle, and I don't know, your grandmother had asthma and your father had schizophrenia, what those things mean together, and what kind of recommendations you can give somebody based on that are very, very personalized diets, personalized sports recommendations on how they can deal with their individualized risks, because two different people may have 100 times difference in their, I don't know, kidney stone risk or heart disease risk or Alzheimer's risk, or several hundred-fold. So everybody has a different risk profile, and everybody has different chronic diseases sort of in development. So, there are no two people who need exactly the same diet. You can really personalize everything to a very deep level.
Wow. So you guys get like really deep in there, very specific with each client. Is there anything specific you guys are doing uniquely with lab testing specifically right now?
Well, I think that people underestimate the importance of metabolomics, because metabolites are biochemical byproducts of the way your body operates. And unlike, for instance, like genetics, this is something that's phenotypical. So while genetics gives you a chance for something, but you don't really know which gene is turned off or turned on, and you can sort of, epigenetics also regulates that. But whatever you see in metabolomics is actually happening in your body. And it's also connected to your microbiome, because like half of the metabolites in your blood are not directly made by the human body, but are either influenced or actually made by your microbiome. So so the microbiome produces neurotransmitters and hormones and all kinds of stuff, and communicates with the body. So whatever you see in metabolites is actually what's going on in your body. They're all biomarkers, and then you can look at the different pathways with it. And the biggest struggle have been that other companies are using very simple tests on metabolomics, but they're usually tests that only provide what's called z-scores, so they're relative numbers, and we can do it quantitatively, which means that you can follow it longitudinally, because it's every single metabolite is quantitatively measured. So we do a test for you today, we give you recommendations, whether that be medical or lifestyle changes or supplements or whatever, and then we can measure it back, and we can look at the actual concentrations, how they've changed over time.
Wow. That's like super specific.
It is.
That is, oh my god. So how long have you been in the
10
longevity
years.
space? 10 years. Okay. So you've been with the company for 10 years.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's actually wow. So my question to you is, I guess, like, what is next? Like, what is the future? What does it look like? It's you have people coming in, into Budapest. You also work with all these clinics.
Yeah.
So
so we're looking at geographic expansion ourselves. So we're looking at opening in the Middle East and Western Europe, and we're actively working on that, and hopefully it will happen in the next year. So that's one direction, being physically present in other locations. We're also working with other institutions where we provide them either with genetic testing or microbiome or metabolomics, or just report writing. So there are we have clients who have a longevity clinic, and they will do their own analysis of this and that and whatever, but we actually do the integration of the data and the report writing. And the way the industry is going, there will be always new tests that come in and new sources of data that you can integrate. Like a couple of years ago, we didn't do biological aging clocks. Now we have several ones included. We can look at it from the metabolomic side. We can look at from epigenetic side. We can look at organ age and things like that. So that's pretty new. Came in the last couple of years. When we started, microbiome tests were still something called 16S sequencing, which is very superficial. Now we have our own bioinformatics pipeline. We can go down to 98% accuracy on strain level, which means that from the same species, you can differentiate the different strains. And, some of them are toxin producers, some of them are healthy for you. So that's very important that you can distinguish the different strains. But for instance, one of the things that we don't have included right now is proteomics, which I think is going to become super important. But, we've been experimenting with it for years. And we still don't know exactly which platform to use, but new things will come in, and which means that both the examination, so both the diagnostics and the recommendations will become more and more specific based on the amount of data you have, not only the depth of the data, but how many different data sources you have. So when you're combining more and more data sources, you get a more and more accurate picture of the biology, because biology is so incredibly complex. If you're looking at just one direction, just from genetics, it's very difficult to make any kind of risk assessment based only on genetics or only on lifestyle or only on medical history. But the more sources you combine, the more accurate your predictions are going to be. And I think as science progresses, we're going to be adding more and more examinations, which is going to make predictions better and better and better. And then, of course, AI changed everything.
That's what I was going to ask next, actually. Are you guys integrating AI into your diagnostics or any kind of way? Like, many people are using AI.
We literally have 135 AI projects going.
Wow.
135.
Wow.
So that's how many we've identified. We're not working all of them simultaneously, but because you're dealing with medical data, you got to be really careful on how you use AI, because if you're doing creative writing, hallucinations are sort of okay, because it will just add a twist to the story.
Right, that's true.
But when you're doing with incredible amounts of medical data, you got to be sure that there are no hallucinations included in that, and you got to have talking about agentic AI, you have to have an agent that actually goes in and just quality control to make sure that, the lab values didn't change
right.
when the AI analyzed it. So using AI is very useful. And I think, healthcare in general and longevity is probably one of the best use cases for AI, but you still got to figure out how you can use AI, but making sure that, data integrity is not jeopardized.
Perfect. Okay. And last but not least, how do we find you? How do we find you? How do we find your
You find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
And you can find the company on MediPredict. So it's like medical prediction, medipredict.com.
Okay.
You can find me there. And thank you very much.
And in Budapest. Thank you for joining us.
And in Budapest.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's it for the Better by the Numbers podcast at the 3rd Annual Roundtable of Longevity Clinics. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dude, that was great. Oh, my God.